Last year, at least one person every second had to flee his or her home because of conflicts and disasters in the home country. The shocking statistic is part of a new report about the 31 million people internally displaced in 2016. In terms of violence, the Democratic Republic of Congo was the worst affected country, with almost 1 million people having to leave everything behind. And two typhoons in the Philippines left almost 5% of the country's population homeless. Well, Justin Ginnetti works for the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, which co-wrote that report. He joins me now live from Geneva. Hi there. It's pretty normal for attention to go straight to the country that ranks first on your list of most displaced people. Many would have expected to see Syria or Iraq, and instead, it's by far the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why do we hear so little about the struggle of IDPs there?
That's a great question, and thanks for having me on the program. Unfortunately, the conflict in the DRC has been off the radar screen for far too long, for far too many. And the underreporting that has occurred in the last couple of years just underscores what needs to be done in the coming months and years ahead.
And what does need to be done then in the years to come?
Well, there needs to be far more political attention and mobilization of resources to address the underlying drivers of that conflict and of the displacement that we've been reporting on for the past year or so.
So, I mean, expand on that. How do you suggest providing relief and safety for IDPs, and not just in the DRC, but countries like Syria and Iraq, countries that are completely engulfed in warfare? Is it even possible at this point?
Well, we do believe that it is, because the displacement that we've detected over the past decade or so has about doubled, roughly, during that time. And what that means is that the underlying drivers, those factors that create conflict and disaster risk, have been poorly addressed by both governments and by the international community during that period of time. But the displacement that we report on isn't a fait accompli. These drivers of the displacement risk are well understood, are known, and can be addressed.
So tell us then where you're seeing governments do the most for IDPs. What are some positive examples?
Well, in the Philippines, for example, the internal displacement situation is well documented and reported on, and the country is relatively speaking, quite capable of getting people back onto their feet. And when you contrast that to the situation that we've been reporting on in, say, Yemen or in Somalia or in the Sahel in Nigeria, where you see IDPs, or internally displaced people, facing not just displacement, but food insecurity, and in some cases even outright famine, it gives you a bit of perspective about what can and can't be done, or what can and should be done when responding to displacement.
Tell us then about the other nations who've had, some of them, decades of struggling IDPs, for whom seems like very little has changed, including a country like Colombia.
Exactly. Colombia tops our list, actually, with the country with the most number of internally displaced people, at more than 7 million. And part of that has to do with the decades-long internal conflict with the FARC. But it also has to do with the fact that, again, more attention and more resources need to be allocated toward getting people back onto their feet once they have been displaced, once they've been forced to flee their homes with very little other than what they can carry in their arms. And in many countries, this is simply not being done. And I think the Democratic Republic of Congo example that you alluded to at the top is perfect, because that's a crisis. It's a conflict that's been going on now for more than a decade. It's been simmering and unfortunately off the radar screen. And as a result of that, there hasn't been a response or a political will commensurate with the gravity of that situation.
Okay, Justin Ginnetti, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us from Geneva.